Hello, I'm Oksana, and today I want to talk to you about dyes. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about just dyes in general, and then I'm going to talk about my feelings, my stance on dyes. And this is only meant to inform you and to share my opinion with you. Of course, everybody has different thoughts on this, and I'm just going to tell you why I use them and which ones I use and which ones I avoid. So there are D&C dyes, which are drugs and cosmetics, and then there are FD&C dyes, which is food, drugs, and cosmetics, which already is starting to not make a lot of sense because how can something that is too dangerous to be used in food can be used in a drug? But it can, so that's another reason to read the labels of what you are eating or taking internally. I personally avoid all dyes in my food. That's something that I feel pretty strongly about, and that is part of the reason that I allow myself some dyes in my cosmetics, because my exposure to dyes is already really limited. I think if you're going to eat it and just put it directly into your body, you're going to get so much more dye versus if you were to rub a little bit, even if it's on your lips, and you might potentially ingest some of that, like if you lick your lips or whatnot, that is still going to be just such a tiny fraction of what you're going to get if you were to eat, a brightly colored popsicle. So I avoid it in food completely. But in my cosmetic products, I do allow myself to use the food grade dyes. And I feel okay with that because I don't feel like I'm ingesting all that much of the dye. I know that you ingest like 6 pounds of lipstick or something over your lifetime, or the average woman does. So that is not 6 pounds of straight up dye. And I actually would like to know what the statistics are for how much dyes you ingest in food over your lifetime. It's probably a ton more. So I love color, I love bright colors, I love fun colors, and I feel like the tiny amount of dye that I may potentially ingest, food grade dye, so same thing I would get, if I were to eat something, I feel like that's okay, in my lip products and just in my cosmetics in general. But I do avoid the non-food grade dyes. So I always make sure that they are FD&C, and I've actually emailed companies before to ask them if they use only food grade dyes. If you were to look up dyes on Skin Deep, they are rated kind of all over the place, but the food grade dyes, the highest is a 3. So a 3 is not that high for me. And the non-food grade dyes, I didn't look every single one of them up, but the highest I saw was a 6. There might be some that are higher than that, but the point being that they're higher than the food grade dyes, or at least some of them are higher. And I do want to also add that there are some food grade dyes that are rated, quite a bit of them actually, that are rated 0, which is the safest rating. So just to let you know some other things, their ratings on Skin Deep, things that are used for color, kind of your alternative to dyes. Iron oxides, they're rated 2. Mica is also rated a 2. Zinc oxide is rated 2 to 4 depending on usage. Titanium dioxide is rated 2 to 6 depending on usage. And carmine is rated a 1. That one is made from beetles. That's not a mineral. That is not a vegan ingredient. And one thing about minerals is, I know there is such thing as food grade mica that can be used in food, but it's not all food grade, and not all these minerals are, whereas the dyes are approved to be used in food. So obviously it's deemed more dangerous to use some of these minerals in foods. And just because it is natural and comes from the earth doesn't mean that it's not highly processed, first of all. And second of all, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's safe, because there's plenty of natural things in the earth that are extremely dangerous, like cyanide is naturally present, in the earth. And that's the most toxic thing to humans. So just kind of another thing to consider, I guess. I'm not trying to say that mineral makeup is dangerous, or these other ingredients are dangerous. I don't feel like they are. I do use them in my makeup. I'm just trying to make a point that just because dyes are not natural doesn't mean that they are necessarily worse than some of the alternative to dyes. And there is something out there that 100% Pure uses, they've patented, which is fruit pigments. So that actually, I feel, and I don't know how they're made and how they concentrate just the pigment part of the fruit. So I really don't know enough about it, but it sounds like it's something, really safe. It's just pigments from, berries and vegetables and stuff. That sounds really nice. So that probably is like one of the best, most natural things that you can use if you're, really worried about what you're putting on your lips. And I do have several lip products from that company, and I do really, really enjoy them. They are really pricey, so I don't buy from them exclusively. I do buy, from other companies, but they are really nice, and hopefully in the future, they're patented with 100% Pure right now, but hopefully in the future this will be something that will become available to other companies, and we'll see more of this. Hopefully it'll be a nice, safe alternative to these other coloring options. But as of right now, that's kind of where I stand on dyes. That's why I use the food grade ones. That's kind of, how I feel about them. And, oh, another thing I kind of forgot to mention, I wrote down here, but I read something about minerals a while back, how they can be contaminated with, it could be because, they come from the earth, so they're natural, but they can also be contaminated with heavy metals like lead and stuff. So that's just, I'm sure that a lot of them are fine and they're checked for that sort of thing, but just another thing to keep in mind, how natural doesn't always mean safe. So that's it. I just wanted to share that with you, do this quick little ingredient video. I think it's been a while since I've done a video about ingredients. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you later. Bye.